Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at is an aerial Google view of Bantayan Island. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that I've been there. I can say I've done that. I would not buy a t-shirt. And I will tell you there are two valid reasons for moving to Bantayan Island. And I'll get to that momentarily. But the first thing I want to point out is this legend down here on the map. This is 1 kilometer, about 2 inches. So from this shoreline right here to deep water is 2,000 plus feet. Pretty much around the perimeter of the whole island, there's a band around the shoreline of what is known as, in this case, Paradise Beach. This is Paradise Reef Resort. This is Paradise Beach. Now, I will tell you that I stayed here, and the beach itself at high tide is a white sand beach. But I decided I wanted to go swimming, and I walked out 200 feet, and the water was still only just knee deep from this beach. Now, this perimeter around here, this band around here, this is what is called, in nautical terms, the coral zone, C-O-R-A-L zone. And the coral zone, as I'm going to show you, goes around the whole island as a band of green and or grayed out areas. So basically, in order to get from any beach in the Santa Fe area, you have to walk somewhere close to 1,000 feet and up to 2,000 feet. So when I expand this map, let's say, I expand this map and we look at the legend on the bottom. This is called the legend. Let me get down here. Okay, this is the legend here. This is 500 meters. Now all I'm going to do is pull the map back down into view. 500 meters from the shoreline, which is this white sand area, this is Paradise Beach. But right now, we're looking at 500 meters to deep water. This blue water is deep water. White is sandy bottom. Green is what is known as the coral zone, where the sea life and seaweeds and weed line are. So I'm going to bring this map back down to show you where I stayed and how far it was from where I stayed at this hotel here. The Sandria Beach is right next to where I stayed. There's Maria's Place is around here somewhere. Okay, so the Paradise Beach Club was a few doors away from me. So in order to get from this beautiful white sand beach to deep water, at low tide, this entire area was exposed to the atmosphere. In other words, there was no water for 1,000 plus feet. It advertises that we have beautiful white sand beaches, and they do have beautiful white sand beaches. But this coral zone that creates a perimeter around all the hotels, right up and all the way around the island, the coral zone extends out 500 meters. It's anywhere from 400 meters to 500 meters everywhere. So if you're a swimmer and or a scuba diver, You have to travel somehow 500 meters to the deep water. But at the deep water, it's just a sandy bottom. So for scuba diving or even snorkeling, you have quite a trek. You might not think that 1,500 feet is a long distance, but for most people, they've never swam 1,500 feet in their life. Now, I could do that, but you're talking about an hour of swimming from the beach in 3 feet of water at high tide to the deep water, and a half hour there and a half hour back. So for snorkelers and swimmers, this is not an island paradise. Now I'm going to show you the first picture that I have here is it's a Google Maps picture. All of the island here, all of the island has this coral zone wrapped around it, except for this one portion here. I don't know what's over there. But all of Santa Fe, all of Paradise, and all of the rest of the island wrapped around this way all has a coral zone from 300 to 400 meters to 500 meters to where you get to deep water. That's not an ideal scuba diving place or snorkeling place, nor is the advertisements for the beach resorts, nor are they accurate, because they say swimming and diving is possible from our beach resort, but it's not possible. So let's go back to this map here. There's one place that you can swim from, and it is called the Ruins. Now, it's not state operated. It's not safe. Let's put it's not safe at the top of what it is not. It's not safe to swim here. Certainly not safe at night. It's not lit up. There are no steps per se from once you jump into the water. However, half of the Ruins is you can jump off into the water. Half of the property you can jump off into deep water, but the other half, the coral is just 1.5 feet or 2 feet deep. If you were to jump off the coral and not know, not see it because of wave action, because of it's nighttime, you would jump or dive right into a rock. There's no lights, there's no steps, there's no infrastructure there at all. It's just an old building that was damaged due to a storm, and it's famous because it's called the Ruins. And this is the most well sought after tourist attraction on the island. Now, I have many videos of the Ruins, but I will just tell you that the Ruins are nothing more than an old broken down house with graffiti on it. Now, they call this the Santa Fe cliff diving spot. Can you dive off this spot into deep water? Yes. Half the property of the Ruins, you can jump off the cliff. But half of it has rocks just below the surface of the water. So if it was at night, or you didn't know about those rocks, you would jump into those rocks, at which point you would be in a just hard to just picture jumping 12 feet into a rock formation and believing that you were going to hit water, and you hit rock. At night, no lights, no staircase, no handrails to get up or down, just some notched out coral rock that somebody did 20 or 30 years ago with an old hammer and made footholds in the coral. So there's your big tourist attraction, on the island of Bantayan Island, aside from not so far away, is the Octon Cave Resort. Now, this is an area that publishes swimming and snorkeling from their beach, but their beach, according to the legend down here, 100 meters is just over 1.25 inches. So their beach is 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 meters to deep water. I'm trying to give you an honest assessment of the island so that when you go there, you have your choice of what you want to do. Now, the day that Daisy and I went to Octon Cave, it was closed. And there's a reason for that. The cave is kind of like a national preserve, and only a certain amount of people are allowed to go into the cave on any given day. So it's we got up to this gate here and was told that the cave is closed for the day. And there's a small service fee to get into the cave. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not a lot of money. But you can only go in at certain times, and that day it was closed. So where we stayed here at Paradise Camp Beach, this hotel that we stayed in has 5 different names on the internet because no one takes off their original names. 5 different names. So that's what I want to talk about. As far as beaches on this island are concerned, it's typical to have, this is 500 meters from the arrow to here. This is 2,000 feet. Here you have to walk 2,000 feet to the deep water. Here, 1,500 feet. Here, about 1,200 feet. Here, about 1,000 feet. But you have to also understand that there's only a very small area where there is a public beach over here. It was right near where we stayed, but from that public beach, it's 1,500 feet to deep water. Then there's another very well-known area of Bantayan Island. It's called, well, it's in the Santa Fe area, Sugar Beach. A Sugar Beach is also, this is all sand at high tide or low tide. There's a big sandy area there. But again, from here to the deep water, the legend says it's 200 meters per inch. So from Sugar Beach, it's 200, 400 meters. That's 1,200 feet of shallow water. It's up to you. The beach itself, I will tell you that I stayed at this Paradise Hotel. The beach is beautiful. The grounds that we stayed on were well kept, but there's no water there at low tide. The view is spectacular. For 1,300 pesos a day, there's going to be a video I'm going to be posting. I give it an A+ for price and locale, and I give it an A++ for view, for the view behind the hotel. But if you want to go there for diving or camping, we're going to go to the next Google search here. This would be this island hopping adventure. So if you want to go island hopping on the island of Bantayan Island, there was one site. It's in my community post. It's called Island Hopping Bantayan Island, Malapusco Island. Okay, so I'm going to go back and put that in my my live stream comments. Hold on a moment. I want to get that in my live stream comments. I don't know that I can get to my page. I have to get to my page. Hold on a moment, please. Got to go to my channel. Okay, let's go to the community post. Let's go to videos. Let's go to live. Let's go to live. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to put the name of that island hopping adventure right here, and I'm going to post it in there 3 times. Now, you're going to be surprised at the price. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because I've heard so many things about Bantayan Island. It's a paradise resort. It's a beautiful place to live. We're going to go over all of that stuff as far as accoutrements for life are concerned, hospitals, doctors, drugstores, supermarkets, and or the general money being spent in and on the island, not by government, but by small and or medium business investments. We're going to do all of that. So let's go back over to here. This is the one site that's called Island Hopping Bantayan Island. Okay, and we did not even, I would never think about this. It wouldn't even cross my mind. Because, first of all, I have island hopping boats right behind my house here that bring me to sugar white sand beaches for about $45 for the day, for 6 hours. This boat here on Bantayan Island, because it's the only one, it's 16,800 pesos. 16,800 pesos is $287. 17,000 is 287. However, it's $287. Where is that now? Let's go here. Let's shut this one off. Okay. Let's go. Where is that? It's right here. It's $287 per person. Now, if you're rich, of course, this is a small amount of money. But if you're on vacation and you're spending a year's earnings to go on vacation, this is $287 per person. No food at all is included in this. Nothing is included in this. So what you have is 287. Let's just round it off to 300 per person. So for 2 people, it would be $600. Only boat fare, round trip. Only boat fare, round trip. It's non-refundable. And the entire trip from start to finish is approximately 9 hours. 9 hours. And what that does is it gives you it's only boat fare is inclusive of tour guides, the basic only boat fare, basic, BAS. It includes boat fare, a tour guide, and entrance fees into the national parks area. It's exclusive. It does not cover lunch, cottage rentals on the islands, and it does not cover snorkel rentals. The duration, in case of bad weather, could be as small as 8 hours. So basically, you're on a boat You get off, I think, on 2 islands, and you pay $300 per person per day, and you have to bring your own food, or you can buy food on wherever you stop. So that's up to you. So round trip is per adult is 17,500 pesos. Now, if that is your idea of a boat trip, I can tell you to come to Bohol, go right behind my house here, get on a boat for $60 per person, and go to 2 islands, and the trip is 6.5 hours, 6 hours. You get to see dolphins. You get to see hundreds, thousands of dolphins. You get to see one of the most beautiful coral reefs in the Philippines, and you get to go on a sugar white sand beach. Basically, it buries this in wish, want, and desire for a boat trip for the day for $60 instead of $300. This is 5 times the price with nothing included. There's no lunch included for $60 behind my house. However, there is a reef, a beautiful coral reef. You can bring your own mask and snorkel on either one of these boats. But there's nothing to see on a white sand beach. Sand snorkeling, sand diving is sand bottom diving. Unless there's a wreck, it's just sand, nothing else. And that's what you're up against. Island hopping, Bantayan Island, Malapuska, and whatever the name of that is. So that would be the only the only bunker boat that came up on the search. Now, if you want to go diving, there is even less opportunity for diving. If you go here, all the dive shops, half of them are closed, half of them don't answer the phone, and there is no website that gives you any kind of serious information. Let's go to Dan's Dives, because that's what popped up. Google reviews suggest. Let's just see Google reviews for Dan's Dives. I haven't done this part of it yet, but Carlos, it was really nice. The people are treated well. The dive staff is nice. We didn't dive as much as plans. Nothing about the actual dives themselves. Super cheap. Didn't get to see the thresher sharks. So that was for this. There are something called thresher sharks that you get to swim with, but that person didn't get to see it. Okay, so there's nothing in the pictures or description of what to do there. Now, I could show you literally thousands of websites for Bohol, for diving or wall diving, reef diving, dolphin diving. You can even go to see the whale sharks from Bohol. There's a boat that leaves not so far from where my house is. It's quite a long trip. But so in other words, the diving spots in Bantayan Island, and I'll post that link over here, are almost non-existent. So if you're going there to dive, the only thing that you would see on the dive is sand, and maybe the occasional wreck. I don't know. Okay, the link is too long to put in the description box. It's 700 characters. So Diving, I will just tell you that there is no diving in Bantayan Island. Now, let's go back to here. So island hopping is 300 per person, does not include lunch, does not include snorkel gear, does not include fins or a mask or anything. It's 300 per person. That is absurd. An absurd amount of money for a Filipino or Filipina. If they're coming from Cebu, that's an outrageous amount of money. That is the equivalent of $300 is 15,000 pesos. That's more than a month's or a month's wages, but it could be a year's savings for one day, 1 8-hour day for snorkeling. So Bantayan Island is not for snorkeling or scuba diving, in my opinion. So let's go to the next one. Let's just talk about Bantayan Island for a moment. Okay, let's go to the map again. Daisy and I walked from the Paradise Beach Hotel. Now somebody said that you were too cheap to stay at a nice hotel. You should have stayed on Paradise Beach. Well, that's where we stayed. And eventually, everyone found out that's where we stayed. But there was no retraction of the negativity, because there was no retraction of the negative statements. We stayed at the best and most of that only available room on the island, and it was in the best beach. So we walked from Paradise Beach, we walked to the ruins. Now, that doesn't seem like much of a walk, but the legend says 200 meters is 1 inch. So Paradise Beach, you cannot, even though the map shows you cannot walk along the beach to the ruins. That's not possible. That's just not possible. We started walking and we got blocked about 250 feet down the beach, and we just turned around. So we had to go 200 feet, 200 meters this way. That's 400, 600 meters, 800 meters, 1,000 meters, 1,200, 1,400 meters is 1 mile. We walked for 1 mile along what is basically an empty road. There's a fish restaurant right here. You could smell it from a quarter of a mile away. It's probably a huge fishing market, a fish market and restaurant. Very, very, very big place on this corner here. But other than that, you can see there's no houses on this road here. A few small cottages. Nothing after you get past the fish place. This road is 1,000 feet of nothing at all. Nothing. When you get here, there's a basketball court for the children, and an old, and I mean old, bathroom. I did not do a video of the bathroom. No toilet seats, no paper, and no water in the bathroom. None. Zero. So I don't know how they use it, but that's what's there, an old bathroom. Then we walked along here, and we got stopped by a Helpful Harry. Let's call him Helpful Harry. And he asked us if we wanted to ride to the ruins. And we said, no, thank you. We're going to walk. No, I'll give you a ride. No, thank you very much. We're going to walk. Exercise. No, sir. It's a long walk. You're an old man. I said, well, thank you very much, but we're going to walk. Sir, I have a partel I can rent you for the week, very cheap. So that was his goal, was to knew we were tourists because I had my backpack on and Daisy had her backpack on, and he wanted to rent us a partel. Well, we didn't want that, so I said, "Sir, we have an apartment," and we told him where we were staying. So he said okay and left. So basically, he didn't want to give us a ride. He wanted to rent us a partel. He's out there hustling his house or rental, whatever. That's cool. I thought that was pretty cool. So on the way to the ruins, on this side right here, there's a house for sale. I have it in one of my videos. 7 million pesos, I think the house is. Big piece of property. 14 million pesos. Big piece of property on the land side of the road. Huge house with a beautiful view of the ocean for $280,000. I think that's what it was. One house is here. Go up a little bit further. There was a house in the back here you could see from the road. Then you have the ruins, which is a complete, in my opinion, very dangerous to jump off for the ruins. It's all full of graffiti. There are no bathrooms there. And in the ruins themselves, where there are concrete walls, there are some interesting smells. We'll leave it at that. So, do I have a video of the ruins that I could put up there? Well, you've all seen. Let's see if we can get a Google view of the ruins. Here they are, right here. Okay. So this isn't even what the ruins look like. This is all ripped down or damaged from another storm. The whole thing is graffiti. There is nothing at all but graffiti from one end to the other. But this wall has been collapsed for years, it looks like. Now, if you go here and you look at this, it looks like it's sand and coral, and then right in front of the arrow is the ocean. So this is the ruins. This is the ruins. This is the famous ruins. We met people from Greece. We met people from Manila. We met people from Cebu. Over this area here, all around across the front, the view is spectacular. And there were 4 photographers, I guess you could call them, doing photo shoots of 4 ladyboys from Manila and Cebu. So apparently this is a very popular place for photographers to come and do photo shoots. There was one woman that was posing for somebody, but the man was not a professional photographer. It was her boyfriend. But there were 4 professional photographers from Cebu and Manila that came here. Now, in all the places that I showed you, you have to understand, right here is the ruins. Okay, so this is, let's X out of this. Let's go back to this island. Let's talk about the island itself. We went to the ruins and we lived at the Paradise Beach Hotel right here, over here. So we went. So from this area here at Paradise Beach, let me close this down a little bit. From this area here, Paradise Beach, up this road, down this road, and all along to the ruins, we walked. There was no cell phone signal. There was no tower reception and no internet that I could get on my iPhone to do a drone video. That was impossible to do a drone video on that island. I never had a signal for the time I spent on the island, because the way the drone works is it bounces off of towers. The only place I had a signal was in Santa Fe proper, in the town, and only when you get to the town. So from Paradise Beach over here, up this road, down this road, along the coastline, and all the way back into Santa Fe area proper, there was no signal, no cell phone service. That's a little bit of a setback for Bantayan Island, if you ask me. Now, in regards to who would want to live here, I know a man and a woman for 5.5 years who recently had a child. They are moving to Santa Fe. The reason they are moving to Santa Fe proper, we're talking about Santa Fe proper, right in the Santa Fe area, is because they want to raise their children with the least amount of outside influence on their children, to where they can basically control what the children watch and see on the internet, and what they can experience as far as real life activities. I personally had a long talk. I don't believe it. I don't believe you can shelter your children from society now with the internet. They're gonna go to school. They're gonna meet people. I don't believe you'll be able to shelter your children in the way that he explained it to me, but they're willing to sacrifice all to bring their children to the most desolate island in the Philippines, besides parts of Palawan. They're willing to give up their existence as human beings, things to do, because now we're going to talk about what there is to do on Santa Fe and Bantayan Island. They're willing to give all of that up, buy a property here, a big enough property where he can own horses and have a small little property with whatever he wants to do. He's a wealthy man. And so he can isolate his children from society. That's why he wants to move here. That would be one reason. The second reason would be if you are totally done with living life. In other words, you don't want to go scuba diving. You don't want to go swimming. You don't want to go to the mall. There are no malls in Bantayan Island. You don't want to go to a supermarket. You don't want to go to a shoe store, because there are no shoe stores, there are no malls, there are no supermarkets, and the closest hospital is 7 hours away. If you are done with everything that there is to do in life, or you are a total recluse, where you don't want to be around any kind of societal pressures, like to go to the mall, or I don't know, man. I couldn't. I have it in the title of one of my posts. If you gave me a house right here on the water, and you paid, and it was a 5-bedroom house right here on the water, and you paid all my bills forever in advance, I wouldn't live there. It would not be where I would choose to live. There is nothing to do on the island. I just explained to you everything there is to do. There's no scuba diving. There's no swimming per se. You'd have to own a boat, which is a whole nother endeavor to own a small boat. And then you'd have to maintain the boat. Most people couldn't do that. I could, but it's so much work owning a boat. I don't want to own a boat again. I've owned so many boats. I'm done. I'm boatless and I'm happy. Now, if you're ready to do nothing and you're willing to live right here, let's say you lived right here, you can take a tricycle from here to the Port of Authority. This is what it takes to get food, shoes, dental, hospital work, tests. This is what it takes. It takes to get from here to here is $2 for 2 people, 100 pesos. You can get on, there's a bus that stops right here at the passenger terminal, a big yellow bus. The bus ride to Cebu City proper, to the Cebu City Port of Authority, to SM Mall, to Cebu City proper, the bus ride for an adult is 300 pesos, $6. It's cheap enough. For a senior citizen, it's $2.60. Cheap enough. However, you will have to get tickets in advance if you want to get on the morning bus. So you have to go there the day before or a week before and buy tickets for the bus and the ferry. Well, the ferry you can get on, but the bus, that's another step. You have to get tickets for the bus. Well, we got them 2 days in advance, but it was full when we got there at 6 o'clock the morning that we left. The bus was full. The bus fills up. So you need to get tickets, $2 for the tricycle ride from Paradise Beach to here for 2 adults. And then 600 pesos or $12 for 2 tickets on the bus. The bus gets on the ship. The ship leaves with the bus on it. You get off the bus and you sit on the bus and you go to Hagnaya Bay. Where is that? Hagnaya Bay. And you go to the port, Hagnaya Port. It's a slow ferry car transport. Hagnaya Port from Bantayan Island, from the time the ship leaves the dock, is 2 hours. And I will tell you this. This is the ocean. Where you're traversing an ocean. You're not moving across the bay. And the day that we went, about here, all the way to Hagnaya Inlet, all the way over to here, right here, there was 6 and 7 foot waves. The ship was rocking back and forth. Many people got seasick. Many people got seasick. So you are no longer in a bay, you're in the ocean, and if you don't have your sea legs, so to speak, you're gonna get sick if there's any kind of weather. And that day, there was the storm Noray or Noru. We had 6 foot waves for 1.5 hours with some 7 to 8 footers, maybe more, mixed in between, and people were turning green everywhere. Okay, so let's bring it from Santa Fe to Hagnaya Port. Right here, that's 2 hours. The bus gets off the ship. You get on the bus. Well, you get on the bus on the ship, and then the bus drives off the ship with you on it, and then it goes up this road here, and then it works its way down all the way, works its way down. I went up. It works its way down to Cebu City. Cebu. That is 4 hours on the bus. 4 hours. 4 hours from San Remo or Hagnaya. 4 more hours. So you're on the bus from Santa Fe over here. You're on the ferry for 2. Now you're on the bus for 4 more hours. If there's no traffic, 4 hours. No accidents and no traffic. Okay, so you get to Cebu City, and the bus will bring you very close to the port. It'll bring you to SM Mall. It brings you to about 5 different malls. Then, at that point, you have been traveling. You're up at 5:30. You get on the tricycle at 6. You get to the port at 6:20. You get on the bus so you can get the front seat, hopefully at 6:25. The bus leaves once it fills up, or at 7 a.m. It's 2 more hours to the port of Hagnaya. So that's 3 hours that you're up now till 9 o'clock, plus 4 hours to get to Cebu City minimum at 7 hours. So now, if you're going to go shopping, you've already put a 7-hour day in. The bus stops twice for snacks. So now, when you get to Cebu City, then you can, hopefully you've made a dentist appointment. You can go to the Isla Mall. You can go to any one of the bigger malls. You can go to S&M's food stores. You can buy frozen meats. You can buy frozen turkeys. You can buy frozen hamburgers, none of which you can buy at a reasonable price on Bantayan. So it actually pays to go down to the city of Cebu to go shopping. Bring some portable styrofoam containers so that you can have your meats stay frozen. You can buy dry ice in one of the stores here and then go back. So what you have to do is, what you're talking about is a day to travel to Cebu. The next day you're going to do your shopping. Then the following day, the third day, you're going to get back on the bus at the North Cebu Bus Terminal. The North Cebu Bus Terminal. That's where you're going to tell the cab driver to bring you, at the North Cebu Bus Terminal. And then the bus is going to go back up the coast to Bogo City and Hagnaya, and then you're going to go over to Santa Fe. So basically it's a 3 days minimum. Now, if you have a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment, or you have to take tests, well, you can't go shopping on day 2, because if you bought frozen food, it's just not going to last. So you have to plan. If you have a hospital or a dentist appointment, you have to plan for 1 day of traveling to Cebu City. You need to rent an apartment. Daisy and I rented a Red Doors apartment. Quaint little one-room place, I think, in Cebu City proper, right near the North Bus Terminal. I think it was 1,200 pesos, $26, $25. A Red Doors, R-E-D-D-O-R-O-D, Red, R-E-D-D-O-O-R-Z, Red Doors, and it was $24. It had a coffee maker to satchels of coffee, fresh water cooler, a refrigerator, good air con, 4 towels, clean sheets, clean linen for $24, right near the north. Right near the north. Hold on a minute. Right near the north bus terminal. So now you can rent condominiums or you can rent hotels. But so basically, if you wanted to live on Bantayan Island, you would have to plan to get foods. Now, getting the foods, you can get boxes and boxes and boxes of foods, put them on the bus. There was no charge for luggage, but I don't know if they charge for boxes. They do, so I think that's free. But you could get all the foods you want, put them on the bus, and then when you get to Bantayan Island, then you pay the tricycle driver to bring you to your house. But it's a minimum of a 3-day, could be 4 and could be 5 days. 5 days to go get food. Because on the island of Bantayan, there are no hospitals, no dentists, so to speak. There's a few small dental offices, but they don't have x-ray machines. I called up one, and they didn't have an x-ray machine to do an x-ray, so I only just called it just to see what was available, and I did that months ago, so maybe they got an x-ray machine in the meantime. But either way, you are at the mercy of the elements, because on a bad day, you're not going. You're not going from Santa Fe to Hagnaya. You're not going to do that on a bad day. The day that we went, it was iffy for a 275-foot car freight float to go onto the ocean. They were not sure that it was going to leave. So you are crossing basically an ocean inlet. It's 20 miles. Or no, excuse me, it's not 20 miles. It's 10 miles. But you're crossing 10 miles of ocean water, rough water. So that's one reason that I would never live there. I mean, who has 3 days to travel to go buy food, and then you have to buy everything you need and months in advance for your frozen foods? To me, that's not acceptable. Now, like I said, the 2 reasons, my friend is moving there with his wife to isolate himself from the world, so that he can raise his child with the least amount of outside influence. And being that there was no internet on the island when we were there, nothing, zero. There was that Storm Nuru, I think it was, the Storm Nuru. I had it up here. So there are 3 reasons to move there, really. But one is to isolate yourself from the world, being a total recluse. This is as far from civilization as you can get, other than living in a province of Bacolod, because there are mountain ranges in Bacolod where you won't see a house for 5 miles. You can buy property in Bacolod on the side of a mountain and be 5 miles away from your neighbor. Or you could live on the far side of Palawan, which is even more remote than Bantayan. And for that you would have to be rich. You're not traveling from Palawan to Cebu or Dumaguete or down to Bacolod. You're not traveling for less than $500 per person round trip, because Palawan is 7 hours by bunker boat, and then it's 7 hours by bus, and then so that's a 14-hour trip. You leave at 5 o'clock in the morning from from Palawan on a bunker boat, you're going to get to where you want to be at 8 o'clock at night down in Dumaguete, let's say. But you can take an airplane for about $200, 10,000 pesos, one way. So this is the most deserted island that would be affordable to the average retiree if you were prepared to do nothing for the rest of your life. Now, I have some other stuff in my pros and cons of living on Bantayan Island. Let's see, where did I put that? I put it in a community post. Well, that's not possible. Okay. Now, for the people that have questions, don't bother asking me questions. I'm not going to answer any questions. Because I think I've explained everything there is to explain. There's not much on Bantayan. There's not much there. Like I said, you want to raise a child as far away from civilization, this is the place to be. You're a total recluse, this is the place to be. But to listen to some of these reviews about Bantayan Island and what a wonderful place it is, let me go back to the map again. Okay, so let's go to Bantayan Island map again. Now I'm going to tell you something. Daisy and I have video of this, we went as far as we took a tricycle ride down from Sandrea Beach, which is Paradise Beach. We took a ride. I just told the fella to drive along the coastline road in this direction. Now, there were no new house construction going on. Nothing. Not a single house on this road from Paradise to here, and that's about 2,000, about a mile. Now, then we went up this main road here to Bantayan Santa Fe Road. Now, this road is new construction, being concrete, 10 inches of poured concrete. And we followed this road all the way to Santa Fe proper. Along that road, on the main road, there was a huge, very big building. Could have been a lumberyard or something, because it was a huge open, like an aircraft hangar type building. It was not office space. It was definitely for a Home Depot or a city hardware store or something like that. So there was one place on somewhere up around this part of the road. I don't remember where it was. That was one building. Then somewhere halfway to town, there was another building being built. Looked like office rentals. That's two. But no house construction. None. Now, when we came from the ruins, we walked along this road from Paradise Reef to the ruins. There was not a single new house being constructed. Nothing. When we got on the tricycle at the ruins to Santa Fe proper, up this road, there was not a single house being constructed. Now, over here is the airport. Right here. This is the airport. You've heard stories that we have an airport on our island. Well, they do. And they are extending the runway. That part was true. But the airport has been closed for as long as anybody can remember, and they have no due date to open the airport. that anybody knows about. So the airport is and has been built, but it's been closed since 2020. So they don't have an airport. Now, getting back from the ruins to Santa Fe proper, there were no new house constructions. In Santa Fe proper, in the town, there were many new resorts being built, hotels. But that money is not money that's been made on Bantayan Island. That is old school money. That is big time future investments. Let's get a foothold on Bantayan Island while the real estate is dirt cheap. Because I will tell you that 20% of every business in Santa Fe proper, every little mom and pop store that was selling sari sari or ukai ukai store, 20% of every store in Santa Fe proper is closed. Or it didn't open at lunchtime. They may have opened to sell some foods at 4 or 5 o'clock. The big, huge pizzeria right across the street from Cuckoo Bar and Grill, which is the third reason to move to Santa Fe. There's a huge place, pizzeria, says all you can eat pizza. Buy one, get one free. That place was closed. So that is a business, thousands of square feet of business that's closed. Nothing for breakfast, nothing for lunch, and at dinner time it opened up and sold fish, not pizza. It sold some calamari, and that's how you say it. You don't say calamari. It's not calamari. You people can't get it through your head. It's calamari. Calamari. They had calamari, they had French fries, and they had some fried fish, and they had some small pizzas. I did not go in there because we ate at the Cuckoo Bar and Grill. Every one of our meals, we ate at another 3 times. We ate outside the Cuckoo Bar and Grill. 3 times the food was edible, but that's it. The Cuckoo Bar and Grill is the only place that you want to have food in Bantayan Island. Don't waste your time going anyplace else because it's a waste of time and money. There are probably other restaurants on Bantayan Island that have just as good a food as the Cuckoo Bar and Grill. But we tried 3 other places and we didn't hit on one. So we went back to the Cuckoo Bar and Grill for all our meals. So don't think that there aren't other places besides the Cuckoo Bar and Grill, but I didn't find one. And I think that's it. I'll go back to the island map. Let's see, is there anything else? There was something else. Okay, I had it in my community page. Hold on a minute. I'm looking for my community page. I had some notes. Okay, so let's go to my community page. Okay, the live stream. Ready to do nothing. 2 days travel to go buy groceries. There is no airport. They don't know when it's going to open up. And I couldn't get a price for airfare when it does open up. We saw no new house construction at all. Now, you're going to hear stories. Oh, Bohol, Fazio lives in the province of Bohol. There's nothing here. Let me try to explain this to you. You can't go from my house to the city. You cannot count to 10 on the jeepney without seeing some sort of new construction between the numbers 1 and 10 on the left and right hand sides of the road. So in other words, you're on your way to the city, you go 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. On the left side, there's an extension being built on a house. You start again. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1000. On the right side, there's a house being built. Then you start again. 1001, 1002, you're going to see a sari store being built. You cannot count to 10 for 24 kilometers without seeing some new construction. On Bantayan Island, on this map, on these roads that we circumnavigated around, I saw 0 new house construction. None. Not one house was being built. So there is city and or state money being pumped in by the billions of pesos to rebuild this main road, the Santa Fe Road. This road to Ruins is an old paved road, which is a good concrete paved road. This road here is the same old road, concrete road, could be 20 years old, because it's an old coastline road, so that was paved. But these roads here are all like 15 feet wide. They're not wide roads. Now, something else that you really need to know about Bantayan Island is that it's basically uncharted jungle. So 99% of all of Bantayan Island has not been developed. In other words, all this area here that you see in green, there are a few houses scattered here and there, but it's basically anywhere around the perimeter of all the houses and all the roads. None of it's deforested. It's all just old growth. So if you buy a piece of property over here near Suntory Farm and you clear out a spot for your house is in a clearing and you're surrounded by 10, 12, 15, 20, 30 foot of jungle. When I say 30 foot high trees, and it's jungle. It's not forest, it's jungle. Forest and jungle are two different things. A forest is where the trees allow the sun to hit the ground. You can see sunlight on the ground. A jungle is where everything is so overgrown that no sunlight hits the ground. 99% of all of Bantayan Island is jungle. There is no old growth forest. Not that I saw, and I looked. Okay, so Scott Del Fuego was here. Let's see what Scott has to say. Scott, I'm streaming today. I ceased the blind carpenter as he picked up the hammer and saw. Hey, Scott, I saw your message before. Thanks for saying hello. Obviously, that area of Panglao Bohol is experiencing booming growth in the face of the economy. So, yeah, that's true. So, in my area here, if I were to go to Panglao, you've heard stories, nonsensical stories. Let's get a map of Panglao. Hold on a minute. Map of Panglao Island. I will show you how much construction is going on here. You would be amazed. Okay, so let's get that map up here. Is this the map? Yeah. Okay, so that's not it. Where's that map? Here it is, right here. Map of Panglao Island. So, I'm going to try to get a road map up here. Okay, so let's just go where I live. This is the road. This is Poblacion right here. This is where I said you cannot go from here to the other end of the island, which is 20 kilometers, without counting from 1 to 10, without seeing a new house, a new sari-sari store, a new extension, a new hotel, a new building. You cannot count to 10 without seeing new construction being built. Now, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get this map up here. Okay, so here's where I live in Dolho here. Now, they have the Bellevue Resort is right here. In this area here, I wish I could remember the name. Okay, in this area here, they have the Bellevue Resort, which is a 5-star resort. Next to the Bellevue is another 5-star resort, but next to the Bellevue is an entire complex. See, I live here. There's an entire complex, a discotheque, several bars, several high-end restaurants, several jewelry shops, an ATM machine that works. Oh, I went to Bantayan Island. The ATM machine did not work on the island, or it was empty. I don't know. It said that out of service for whatever reason. There was a sign on it. Anyway, over here is a 7-Eleven, two bars, one huge discotheque. Now, I'm not into discotheques, but there is one there. This is all white sugar sand beach. There are 15 or 20 restaurants in a food court here. All new. This is all new construction. Then move over 500 feet to the left, and they're building another 150 to 200 rooms, 2 buildings of hotels on this white sand beach. So there is nothing comparative at all on Bantayan Island, because this beach is a public beach behind the hotel. And it's deep water right from the shoreline out 100 feet is deep water. There's nothing like that in Bantayan Island. I'm trying to get a I don't see it. So anyway, there's nothing but construction everywhere where I live. And as far as my beach, in comparison to any beach on Bantayan Island, the beach I live on is a sugar white sand beach. There's no pollution. There are no hotels. There's 5 hotels in a half a mile of beach. 5. That's not a lot of pollution. On Bantayan Island, there's 100 hotels on a mile of beach. That's a lot of gray water, so to speak. Well, let's go back here. Take a look. I don't see where we are here. I don't know what happened to my page. Let's go back to my home page. I have to go back to my community post. Okay, so compared to Bantayan Island, you've heard, he lives at... No, I live in the most up-and-coming community in the Philippines, period. There is no place anywhere else in the Philippines where more money is being pumped in as far as personal houses, hotels, businesses, hospitals, doctors, dentists, pharmacies. There's 6 pharmacies within a mile of my house. There is 2 ATM machines that are 24-hour service ATM machines within a mile from the house. You go 3 miles from the house, there's 12 or 13 ATM machines, 4 banks, 6 pharmacies in one place, 2 pharmacies in another general area down by the Bellevue. There's 2 pharmacies that just opened up, a 360 and something else. The white sand beach I live on is white sand, no boulders, no rocks, until you get to a very low tide out by the reef. There's no graffiti anywhere in Pang Lao. You will not see graffiti anywhere in Pang Lao. Let's see. And you don't have to walk through 900 feet of mud to get to deep water where I live. At high tide, between my house and the reef, there's 8 feet, 6, 7, 8 feet of water, more than enough to swim in. At low tide, then you have to walk out a few hundred feet to where, if you want to swim, but it's possible. Twice a year, there is no water between the beach and the reef, at which point you have to walk over the top of the reef and jump in the water, and that's not a good idea, unless you're a professional swimmer and or diver. So that sums up the fact that if you gave me a 5-bedroom house on the island of Bantayan and paid my electric, water, food, dental, doctor, clothing, transportation fees, if you gave me all that money, guaranteed forever in perpetuity for free, I would not live on Bantayan Island. In fact, to get me to go back there would probably be something I may never do. There is nothing that I didn't want to see that I saw, and there's nothing that I've researched that I want to see. Bantayan Island are for the newlywed and or nearly dead people that are looking for a cheap place to live, retired people that have nothing that they want to do for the rest of their life, or total recluses that have no wish, want, will, or desire to do anything with the rest of their lives. Nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Because there's nothing of any interest for any young, adventurous person on Bantayan Island. Even to go there to open up a business for 5 years from now, it looks like there'll be potential business ventures there. It would be a bad investment. Arthur Yellow, I'm glad Fazio doesn't send cops to people's houses or dox them. I will be visiting the island you visited soon. I've seen comments in regards to Arthur Yellow. Hey, buddy. And always a tribute to Arthur Yellow. When Arthur Yellow shows up, we always tribute. We give Arthur Yellow a shout out. Yellow, baby. Arthur Yellow. The man who knows the color of God. The man who knows what color God would choose to paint everything if he had a choice. The man who knows what to name his channel. Arthur Yellow. Now, in case you people are wondering, yellow is God's color. It's the color that God has chosen for safety and to make things stand out. Yellow and black are universal colors for caution don't step over here. You can go this far, but no further. Yellow is God's way of protecting mankind. And Arthur Yellow exhibits yellow in his name, which means Arthur Yellow is godlike in and of himself. And no, I don't send police to people's houses or dox them at all, ever. I have no reason. Rats are rats. And coral snakes are red, black, and yellow. They are indeed. They are indeed. So the people that have moved to Bantayan Island, they don't understand. Maybe they don't understand what they're getting themselves into. I don't know. But Bantayan Island is a place to go when you've done everything else that you've ever wanted to do in your life. There are no okay, so in Bohol, if you want, you can go parachuting. Tandem jumps. I think the first 3 jumps are tandem with an instructor, and then after that, you can free dive. You can jump from, I think, 3,500 feet or 5,000 feet on a static line. So there's nothing like that in Bantayan Island. There's no on Pang Lao. If you want to rent a parasail boat, there are 3 parasail boats. On Pang Lao, if you want to rent a speedboat, you can do that. There's no such thing on Bantayan Island. And the bunker boats here start at about $40 a day. On Bantayan Island, the only bunker boat on Bantayan Island that I could find for rent for the day for island hopping was this place right here. $288 US per day per person. It does not include lunch. Does not include lunch. Does not include cottage rentals. It does not include snorkeling. $300 a day you can sit on a boat and get off at 2 locations and stand on the beach and look at the water. $300 a day. For $60 a day per person in Pang Lao, you get to get off on what's called Virgin Island, Sugar White Sand Island with a sandbar, and swim in deep ocean clear, crystal clear water, and you get to go on Balikasag Island and see one of the most beautiful reefs in the Philippines, bar none. There is no nicer reef I have ever seen in my life in the Philippines than Balikasag Island. All of that for $60. And here, for $300, you get to stand on a white sand beach twice a day and look at the water. That's it. You don't get scuba, you don't get snorkel gear, you don't get fins, you don't get lunch, you get nothing. So, why would you want to go there? I don't know. Now, let me tell you who does go there before I finish this live stream, because I'm about done. Who would go to Bantayan Island? Anybody from Cebu City that lives in a low-end rental district that's never seen a white sand beach, Bantayan Island is paradise to them. A white sand beach. They've pictured growing up in a city where the only thing you see is streets, food vendors, and septic water running down along the street curb lines. Picture growing up like that. Even in the heart of Ayala, there is nothing but stores, storefronts, streets, street vendors. Bantayan Island is paradise. A white sand beach is something that most people that grew up in Cebu never saw, ever. Now, I met people from Manila. They thought that the ruins was a world-class destination. Well, these are people that grew up in a big city. So if you grew up in a big city, to a city dweller, city folk, all this white sand beach, even though you can't get into swimming water, most of these people don't swim anyway. This is paradise. This is a paradise location, plus the fact that Bantayan Island is only 7 hours away from Cebu City. 7 hours, you could be at a white sand beach. That's a big plus. But you gotta remember, you have to have, I lived in Cebu. I lived in Cebu proper. I've been to Consolation. I've been to Talisay. I've been to all of the provinces, all the way down to Obslab. All of them. There is nothing like a white sand beach like there is on Bantayan Island. So to those people, this is a wonderful vacation. But to somebody like myself, I grew up on a beach. I grew up with a boat. I had boats since I was 5 years old. I lived in the Florida Keys, some of the most beautiful beaches and resorts in the world, the scuba diving capital of the world. Through 200 scuba diving boats within a mile of my house. 200 high-end fishing boats within a mile of my house. I had a beach, personal beach behind my house. I had a boat lift. I had an ocean racer. I had access, deep water access to the ocean in 90 seconds. For me, this is an adventure I needed to take. But it would be a place I would never, even if this fella, Arthur Yellow, let's go back here. Where is this place? Even if Arthur Yellow says, Fazio, do you want to go back to Bantayan Island with me? I will pay for your and Daisy's expenses. I would say, Arthur Yellow, thank you, but no. Because you only have so much time in your life to waste. And to go back to Bantayan Island for me would be a complete, utter waste of life itself. 4 days, 5 days, to go do what? Nothing that I haven't done 1,000 times before in a nicer place. But again, I digress. If you're a city dweller from Cebu or Manila, this place is an island paradise. Besides, spitting cobra is black and yellow. Black and yellow, safety. As are bees. Bees are yellow and black. You're right, wasps. Some of them are. God's danger signals, especially those yellow wasps, yellow and black wasps. God, they have stingers that are about 1/4 of an inch long. Scott's a scuba diver, by the way, so he said the nicest reef he's ever seen is Mesoamerican. Now, I've seen nicer reefs than what I've seen in the Philippines. Hundreds of them, thousands of them. Thousands of lineal feet of much nicer reefs. The reef behind my house is one of the nicest reefs in the world. But the reef at Balikasag Island has the most fish because it's an endangered species. You're not allowed to fish there. You are not allowed to take anything off that reef. So all the species natural to the habitat are still there. Back of my house, they will pick up a snail, a 1/4 inch snail, put it in a bucket and boil it to get the flavor. Nothing behind my house lives. If it's seen by a person scouring the beach for food, it's eaten. That includes snails, fish, juvenile fish, big fish, lobsters, octopus. If this reef that I live on, right behind my house, was not fished, you would see lobsters and you would see hundreds, not one or two, but you'd see hundreds of octopi. You'd see thousands of lobsters. You'd see conch as big as 10 or 12 inches. I have not seen a conch in 4 years. And the one I saw was 3.5 inches long. And I just looked at it and said, well, you don't have long to live. Steve 25901, he likes to get his comments in, little digs here and there. Hello, Steve. There was a great stream Michael Fazio did on his Hoodwinked by an Angel channel where he went swimming in the gorgeous Deepwater Canal behind his house. I will try to find it and give it a link someday. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about this mushroom man grooming. Sounds like a happening place. I to be honest, I only watched one. There's got to be 25 videos of Bantayan Island where a certain blogger lives, and I only watched about, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 minutes of different segments of the video. Roberto, Going Fishing, has a video. I watched his video because I'm subscribed to his channel. And what I found really interesting about Roberto's video is in the video there's a house, and the house is painted yellow. Even though the person who's supposedly the owner of that house has ridiculed me for years for painting my tools yellow, it appears in Roberto's video as a yellow house. And I wonder what the mental, if you were going to evaluate the mental stability of someone who critiques Michael Fazio for painting his tools yellow for 5 years and then paints his house yellow. When I saw it, I'm going, that house looks like it's yellow. And in Roberto's stream, I had to go back because I was cooking dinner. I had to go back and I looked at this house, and sure enough, it was a yellow house. And that person, if I'm correct about Roberto, where he's living, that person has ridiculed me for painting my stuff yellow for 5 years. So what mental stress was he under when he painted his house yellow? That you have to wonder that. And I just noticed it about 2 days ago because I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I watch some YouTube, but my YouTube for the last week was limited. I went to the city 4 days this week. I spent 1 day sleeping. I slept from Friday night till Sunday morning. I didn't even get out of bed. I just found it amazing that somebody yells and screams, Fazio, he paints his tools yellow, and then that same person painted his house yellow. Where is his mental faculties when he's putting the brush to the concrete? What is he thinking? This stroke is for Michael Fazio, and here's another stroke of yellow for Michael Fazio. I'll show Fazio. I'll paint my house yellow. I thought that was hilarious. Okay, well, Arthur, I have not. I saw Roberto's because I'm subscribed to Roberto's. I saw Sarcasm, or was it Barry, about 2 weeks ago, had lungs and lats up on the up on a picture of a roof, but that was the last time I actually watched anything about the yellow house until I saw it on Roberto's channel. Why would somebody yell at Fazio for painting his tools yellow and then paint his house yellow? Why would they do that? Okay, that's it for now. I don't understand the mentality behind that. It would be like me talking about the Bantayan Island and how I wouldn't live there. If you gave me a house and paid my bills for the rest of my life, I wouldn't live there. And then next week I go there and look for an apartment. That's how absurd it is to hear somebody critique me for 5 years that I painted my tools yellow, which is a safety color, which is a protection against rust and oxidation, and then paints his house yellow. That's amazing. I don't understand the mentality. Anybody I'll leave this stream open if you want to put your idea down, what that was all about. Was a show, I'll show you. I even had, if you look here in my on my page here, right there, I even had a yellow Mustang. That's me in 2000 and that's me in the year 2000. I bought a yellow Mustang. That's the back of my house in Key Largo. That's how much I liked yellow. But I wouldn't criticize somebody's island or an island for however many days, months, or years and then go live on the island. That's beyond my understanding. Somebody want to try to explain that to me? Hold on a minute. Now, there is one more thing I want to talk about. I did a show. I did a community post. I want to try to find that. Let's see if I could open this up in a new tab. No, I can't do that. Let's open this up in a new tab. I did a community post that yesterday, and I spent a lot of time making videos about this, but yesterday I went to the tax office in Bahal, and I put out a video to that effect also. I don't know where it went. Hold on a minute. I got to find that video. Okay, Fazio pays BIR quarterly taxes. So I want to put the link up for the video that I did. Now, I did this video for two reasons. One was there's a guy, not much of a guy, but a guy, that keeps saying I don't pay my taxes. So every 3 months, I have to go to what is called the BIR and pay my taxes, my quarterly taxes. Yesterday, I will explain to you how to do that, so that now you can also, what's required of a person in order to pay taxes is, number one, you have to go to the BIR. BIR, okay? That's number one. Then you have to fill out an application to pay either business tax, hotel tax, service tax, or YouTube, AdSense, Patreon, and or Google Super Chat. Okay, you have to pay that. It's 3%. I've heard for years that I don't pay taxes, but yesterday, I try to keep these videos down to 2 or 3 minutes. Yesterday, my number 25 was called in order to fill my paperwork out. I've heard stories from a guy that coincidentally lives on Bantayan Island, saying that Fazio doesn't pay taxes. Now, I'm not sure why he says that, because I've, day after day, month after month, year after year, I've posted videos of me paying taxes. So what? Let's go to window number 8. And that's my name, my John Hancock. That's my number 25. That's the cashier payments. Wait a second. Bureau of Internal Revenue, I was number 25. That is the quarterly form, the 2551Q, quarterly percentage of the tax roll. And then now you're going to see momentarily my number is called to go to window 8. That's window 8. It's up to number 24 here. 24 is that lady at the desk at window number 8, number 24, and you saw I was number 25. So this lady's going to be done. Window 8. It would appear that the one who accuses me of not paying taxes is actually the one who's not paying taxes. To be more accurate, Steve. So this is window 8. Now I'll put the sound on. To pay my quarterly taxes. I've explained this to you many times before. Directly. Let's just put that on silent there for a minute. When that girl leaves, you're going to hear them call number 25. Number 25, please step up to window number 8 and pay your taxes. And I'm just explaining to you how to pay your taxes during this video. I'm number 25, baby. 25. And then we're going to get on with the show here. And they're going to call number 25. And you're going to see me actually hand the cashier my paperwork. Right now I'm explaining you have to walk along that back wall with these papers that you get. Okay, here we go. Let's get the sound in there for more proof that Fazio pays taxes.
Customer number 25, please proceed to collection/payments counter.
That would be me.
Customer number 25, please proceed to collection.
Okay, so now, what does he have to say about that? Did I make that up? He keeps saying he's only standing outside the window with papers, flashing them around. But now I have proven that I pay taxes. Here's the girl. This is the cashier. Here she is. Minuto. Wait, oh, sorry. Okay, there's yeah, I made that up. I paid a government employee to facilitate a video so that makes it look like I pay taxes. I go through all that trouble. I pay for, you would immediately. Okay, so I don't understand why that guy can't get it through his head that actually my taxes are paid on time, but it's an amazing thing. It amazes me all the time. Looks like someone may have gotten upset and removed the location of the service. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Steve said something about that. There's a tag, basically, well-known groomer. So the video seems like a little, it was a steep water canal. Here. I see on a Bantayan map a place called Mushroom Man Grooming. Sounds like a happening place. I got to tell you, Steve, I only just noticed that there's even a place on the map with a yellow house on it just after Roberto put his video out, so I really don't know what you guys are talking about. It would appear that the one who accuses you of not paying taxes is lying. That's true. Now he has to see money exchange. You are now going to get blocked. You are not allowed on my channel. You know that. You've been leaving messages on my channel. No money exchange. You are one negative person. Adios. I am now, once again, blocking you on my channel. No money exchange. Imagine how stupid you would have to be to believe that I went through all that trouble and didn't pay my taxes. You are permanently blocked on my channel. Again, look who stopped by. Look who got blocked on the Steve Montelli show. Barry Jordan has blocked this fella. He can't say anything positive at all. There is nothing in his life that he has to be proud of, so he comes along and tries to critique whether or not I paid my taxes after I went through all that trouble to show you the video. Dude, stay off my channel under whatever name, whatever fix, false pretense you come on my channel. Stay off my channel. You are gone, dude. I have never met anybody so negative in my entire life. One day, okay, look who stopped by. Yeah, look who stopped by. So, the BIR taxes can be paid at the BIR. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not much of a... I'm going to post... I did that already. I'm going to post where you can report somebody that doesn't pay taxes to the BIR. I did that already. And then if someone wants to report you for not paying taxes, they can do that. I don't know. That would be up to them. That would be up to them. I'm gonna make a special post on who to report someone that's not paying taxes. And your name is going to be specifically the reason I do that. You shouldn't have stopped by. I don't bother you. I haven't bothered you in months. And now you come on and say negative stuff. You are just such a negative person. I don't understand why somebody hasn't straightened you out. I don't understand it. Although I do understand how tough you believe you are. Again, that's delusions of grandeur. But we'll leave that for another day. So let's see what we got here. Fazio pays quarterly taxes. I might as well just put this right up on my page. If you want to report somebody for not paying taxes, all you need to do is take their name, their full name, their YouTube page, any video where they are admitting that they collected $500 or $800 from any other blogger in any way, shape, or form, Western Union, Patreon, Cash, whatever, any Cash App, any place that they have admitted in a video that they have collected any kind of donations to their page, you can report them to the local BIR office on any given day through an email. Just get the email link for the office nearest you or nearest them, and give them the person's name, their URL, a copy of the video where the person is talking about collecting funds and that he has collected funds, or asking for donations and admitting that he got X amount of dollars so far, and then you can put that information, even if it's a copied video, and you have it on your page because the original video was removed, as long as you have a video of that person talking about collecting funds, you can report them legally to the local BIR office. What they'll do, I don't know, but it is possible to do that. And why he comes on my channel is just beyond me. I don't go to his channel. I have never in 5 years ever left a comment on his channel. He just is, he needles you. He needles you until he can get underneath your skin like he did with Steve Montelli. And he couldn't get under Steve Montelli's skin, so he went nuts. He went berserk. He went bizarro on Steve Montelli, which made him look like the biggest fool on YouTube. And now he's doing it again. I don't know, Arthiella, that they'll do anything if you report the person. All I know is that that's how you do it. I asked in the office the other day, yesterday, as a matter of fact. I don't know how to do it. I personally wouldn't go through the trouble, but that's how. If someone had the time and the patience, I guess, if they had the video, if they have an admission that money was collected, I guess you could do it. I wouldn't take the time to do it. I don't have that kind of time to do stuff like that. But the thing that is bothersome is that he has to go to everybody's channel and leave negative comments, because that's what his life is. It's in the negative. Is a negative individual. An underachiever, no doubt. A man who has delusions of grandeur, no doubt. And a man who was basically, his life is pretty much over. You know, his life is now surrounded by, apparently, according to Roberto's video, 12-foot of weeds. I don't think that would be how I'd want to go out, surrounded by 12-foot of weeds. Mosquitoes, mosquito larvae, snakes, vermin, and mud puddles. Roberto has a great video up on his channel. Mud puddles. There's a lot of mud. That is nothing but an infestation. You know how many billions of mosquito a puddle like that can create in 1 year? Imagine living and I find it interesting that for years he talked about me bathing in mud puddles, and now he lives surrounded by mud puddles. Yeah, I would imagine there's a lot of snakes. The whole island is one giant, it's a jungle. There's no doubt that it's a jungle. There's no doubt in my mind. I was there. Who would want to live there? I don't know. You'd have to be ready to do nothing for the rest of your life other than live inside compound. In that case, it's a small compound, but most houses are just surrounded by jungle, period. Nothing stops anything from going in or out of your house. 99% of all the houses in the Philippines don't even have doors or windows that close, where a cat or a small dog or even a rat can go in and out of the house at will. At will. I couldn't live there. I couldn't live on that island. That's just that's too far out of the way. All right, so Scott, I'm going to call you in about 2 minutes to the guy who I banned. And I let you back on my channel after 2 years. And I see all kinds of negative comments here and there. You're not going to come on my live stream and destroy my live stream. Just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. You're not going to get me to get upset. You couldn't get Steve Montelli upset the other day. Steve made you look like a fool. You made yourself look like an angry old man. You giving people advice has to have been the highlight of everybody's YouTube for the month, that you could possibly give people advice on how to live and who to live with. And if you remember, at the 16-minute and 10-second part of Steve Montelli's video, you lost your mind. You lost your mind because you couldn't get Steve Montelli upset. You went sideways on Steve Montelli, and I gotta tell you, I was laughing because it just makes you look, it amplifies the foolishness of your existence. Nobody takes your advice serious, nor should they. Steve Montelli was right to block you on his channel, and now I just followed in Steve Montelli's footsteps. You're not coming back this time. I let you come back so you could see the comments and that you could read comments, but you take it to the next level every time. You try to get under people's skin. Your goal in life is to get somebody upset so they'll say something negative so you can flag their video and their channel. You are a negative person. Steve Montelli was right to block you, and I just blocked you as well. You're not going to get me to call you names like you called Steve Montelli, thinking that your name of the channel and your face wasn't on the channel, and therefore you can say whatever you want. You know, this fella right here, Arthur Yellow. Arthur Yellow. Let's go up a few comments. Arthur Yellow. Arthur Yellow said somewhere he was going to go visit your island. I don't know why. Who did I block? I blocked this fella here. I forgot his name. Hold on. The calm before the storm. I blocked his message. It was a negative message. It was something about because I showed the paperwork at the BIR and me handing the woman my legal documents and papers to the cashier. He needed more proof. He wanted to see money exchange hands. Well, from the time that you give the woman the paperwork to the time money is exchanged, about 6 to 8 minutes transpires. If you think I'm going to sit in that room for 8 minutes of the Tagmalaran tax office and wait till the woman takes my money, that's just not going to happen. Number one. Number two, I don't owe you an explanation. I gave you what you wanted. You wanted to see me put the papers through the window. I got called. I put the papers through the window. Now you want to see money exchange. See, your appetite for stupidity is insatiable. Your appetite for the obvious, to prove the obvious, is just unimaginable. DNC. So we're going to leave. I'm going now, DNC. I got something that I have to do before 1 o'clock, and I want to talk to Scott. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. If you want, you can push the thumbs up. If not, that's up to you. I'll push the thumbs up. Number 11. You can be 12, 13, and 14. Thanks for watching. God day to everybody from Michael Fazio. And I don't even know where Daisy went. She's in a Zumba class. Thanks, DNC. She's in a Zumba class, and there's some sort of a beach event with the Zumba class. I think it was a beach cleanup. I don't know. She's off doing something with Zumba, the girls. Thanks for watching. And I'm Bing Permy, which means, of course, take care always, from Michael Fazio and Daisy May in the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye for now. Scott, I'm going to call you in about 90 seconds.